Alright, so I just got back from Edinburgh today. I went on Friday for the weekend, and last night, Saturday night, I finally got to see Lord of the Flies at the Festival Theatre in Edinburgh. It was the 7:30 p.m. showing I went to. And now, I've been looking forward to this. I found out about this UK tour early in August, and obviously found out that Ward-Wilkinson was going to be starring in it. So instantly, I knew I had to go and see this at some point, and went last night, and it was absolutely brilliant. Genuinely, it was absolutely brilliant. Now, like I said, I've talked about this in a previous video, but I was completely cold going into the play. I hadn't read the book, I hadn't seen the films. I was just going solely on the basis that Ward-Wilkinson was starring in this, and I just had such a brilliant time. If you're going into this specifically to see Ward-Wilkinson as I was, you're not going to be disappointed. He is the very first person you see. It's like that episode of Doctors all over again. First person who walks on stage, Ward-Wilkinson, and you know what? I started to feel a whole lot better as I was watching. Do you know what? I'm okay with this. This was my train of thought, because I had this very annoying thought going, it was an unnerving thought in the back of my mind on the build up to this. I was thinking, what are you going to do if you've made the effort to go to Edinburgh to see this? What are you going to do if you go on the night, you get sat, boom, the play starts, and Ward-Wilkinson he's not performing that night. His part of Ralph is going to be played by the understudy. How would you feel if that happened? And it was something I was worried about. It was kind of something I was dreading, thinking, oh God, I hope Luke's going to be in it tonight. And fortunately, yeah, he was. So instantly, boom, I'm feeling a whole lot better. Yeah. And do you know what? This play was a joy to watch. This was very, very well done. Now, I don't want to talk through the play, I don't want to do that kind of thing. I'd just like to talk about specific things and general comments. Obviously, I don't want to give anything away. I know. Hey, it's out there in book form, it's out there in film form, it's hard to spoil the story since it's been around for so long. But instantly, it's when we sat down, a beautiful theatre, the Festival Theatre, it really is. But then we get sat, and instantly, I was so impressed with the way the stage had been dressed, the whole set design. With the crashed plane and, all the scattered luggage all over the stage. It was brilliant, and the backdrop as well. The way they dressed the whole stage it looked absolutely stunning. It really did. So, as we were sat there waiting for the play to start, just being able to sit back and take all that in. The whole set design, and the time and effort that had been, you could tell had been put into constructing it all. It was very impressive. It really was. And then, boom, the play starts. The music in this, of course, pre-recorded. There's no orchestra pit. At the Festival Theatre. But yeah. Pre-recorded music was the music was very good, used very effectively. A lot of it was obviously you had like the jungle beat type, to open the whole thing up, and then after we'd had the intermission, you know, to open up Act 2. But then throughout, there was a lot of times in the play where they had this sort of Exorcist 3 style music score, and it worked very, very well. It really did. So yeah, the music was very good. In addition to talking about how good the play was, you know, in terms of like the acting side, I think it's important to talk about the artistic side, you know, the behind the scenes work that's gone into it. So yeah, set design fantastic, music score fantastic, and then so the play opens up. Luke walks out. I'm very, very pleased. So gets underway, obviously. Simple story, you know, group of schoolboys stranded on an island as a result of a plane crash, you know, and then just fighting for survival. Not in the Highlander sense, you know, they're trying to survive as best they can, you know, foraging for food, you know, building shelters, and then of course a lot of the group descends into a savagery, of course, and then you know, obviously you've got Luke's character of Ralph, who's, you know, he pretty much the good guy. He's trying to stay as civilized as possible, you know, trying to do what he can to get the group rescued. And then on the other side of the coin, you have Jack, played by Freddie Watkins, rather brilliantly, I might add. We'll get back to that. Freddie Watkins is, of course, the villain of the piece. You know, he's the leader of the group that descends into savagery, you know. So you've got, you know, the two opposite sides of the coin, Luke and Freddie Watkins. In fact, while we're talking about Lord of the Flies, I did pick up a programme, a very lovely programme. The cover of it's really nice. And you've got a whole article inside the programme and a cast list as well, you know. So when I went to see the play, this was one of the things I wanted to get, you know, like if I could get a programme, and if there was something like a picture guide, you know, I'd be happy. So, but they've got some pictures in here, so it was kind of like a 2-in-1 in that respect. It's really, really well done. So that was nice little thing to pick up. You know, if you were going to go see it, I'd recommend picking up a programme. It's nice. It's always a nice souvenir. But yeah, so that's obviously the basic premise of the story. You know, so it's quite, you know, even if you haven't read the book or haven't seen the film, you should be able to follow it quite easily. You know. The way this worked was it was obviously divided into two acts. First act being an hour, second act being 45 minutes. This passed quick. This had a really, really good pace to it. It did. It didn't drag. It didn't. It was very, very good. Everyone involved played brilliant parts, but the real stars of the show, you know, the MVPs of the play, have to be, of course, Luke as Ralph, Freddie Watkins as Jack, and the actor who played Piggy, Anthony Roberts. He was very, very good. You know, he completes the trilogy of the stars in this. You know, the most valuable players of the movie: Luke, Freddie Watkins, and Anthony Roberts. Those three, as good as everyone involved was. You know, everyone played their parts very, very well, and they all managed the physicality that was involved very, very well. But those three they really were the shining stars, you know. Of course, in it all the way through. So, you know, these three were really headlining it, you know, and you know, they were the backbone of the play. They really were. Of course, Luke and Freddie Watkins on the cover. They're the cover boys of this thing, but yeah, they really help to carry this, you know. Now let's get into the my personal opinions. The first act was great. It really, really was. Everyone involved was so well done, and the way, one thing that was great in this, the way the mood changed as it got towards the end of the first act, you know, where they start to descend into savagery. The way the mood changes was very well done. It really, really was. You had this quite disturbing, you know, like dance, you know, or like just a whole breakdown, you know, chaos ensues basically, you know, it's like essentially a rave, there we go, said it, for lack of a better term, just breaks out, where these guys just lose all their inhibitions, and something really tragic and horrific happens at the end, and that's how the first act ends. But the mood of it really changing anything, and oh Jesus, this isn't good. It gets into dark territory, you know. We're not talking the Under Siege movie. Stuff gets dark in this movie. This has a lot of tough moments in it, and it's very, very well done. It really, really is. And it's very, very graphic as well. I've got to compliment them on, you know, this movie doesn't hold... Movie. Oh, force of habit. This show really doesn't, this play really doesn't hold back, you know. It's very effective. It doesn't water stuff down, you know. It has an age recommending of 14 years and above. And when you watch the film, you can see why. It's one of those plays that it's aimed at an older audience, because it does get dark and it does get quite graphic, and it all adds to the effect of the play. It's, you know, it serves its purpose. So the first act was very good. It set everything up well, you know, and it drew the line of division, you know. By the end of the act, you kind of know, you know, who's the good guys, who's the bad guys, although you could say, objectively speaking, that there's good and bad on both sides, you know, to use Obi-Wan's line, you know, from a certain point of view, you know, you can kind of understand where Luke's character's coming from. You can kind of understand where Freddie Watkins' character is coming from. So it's one of those where there's something of a grey area, you know. There's good and bad on both sides. But yeah, that's the way the Act 1 ends. It's very well done, and it's just setting up for a very good Act 2, and I'll be back to talk about that in just a sec.